Julian, this morning the EFL have passed down notice that all games will be suspended until April the 4th at the least. I just wanted to get your reaction to this.
Well, sat with the manager this morning discussing through the information that came through, and it's just a very, very surreal feeling. You know, we've obviously had some significant ups and downs here, but there's never been anything quite like this. So, you know, trying to work through the connotations and how it works with the club as a whole, the league, and of course individuals from a health point of view is a significant challenge.
The EFL, on medical advice, have chosen to postpone games rather than playing behind closed doors, and I suppose that's something as a fan-owned club that we support.
Very much so. I mean, I've been at games that are like that, and they're just not the same. The football is really about the fans. Of course, it's about the teams, but it's about the fans. So to play behind closed doors almost defeats the object. So I'm very pleased that that's not what's going on at the moment. But who knows what's going to happen down the line.
The club is in a much better place financially than perhaps it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But what are the cost implications on the fact that we've got 3 home games that now have been postponed, and the income we get from the gates and that, and we still got all the running costs that we've got normally?
Yeah. People had asked me, where do you think we're going to get, and I was reasonably confident that we would do Saturday and hopeful for Tuesday, but you could see this coming, and it's suddenly come at us a little bit quicker, as it does. The decisions in one day are not reversed but are different the next day. To actually be able to answer that question, there is actually literally people working on that. At every board meeting there's budgets in there, so the budgets will change, and I think looking back, we're in a much stronger position than we were. There's been times when to lose a game on a Saturday would have meant we wouldn't been able to pay people on a Friday, and that went on for a long, long time. But I think it's a trust-owned club, and the finances have been taken care of exceptionally well, and therefore we're in a position where we can ride this out. I'm more concerned about, it's in the press. Bury is obviously the example, Macclesfield. For us back then it would have been sort of 2 or 3 days, and some it will be 2 weeks, some it'll be 2 months, and some like us, it will probably affect us in a year or so's time. But we actually still don't know how big an effect it's going to have. If we play the games and start again on the 4th of April, then it's probably going to be, it certainly won't be minimal. There'll be a significant cost, but it'll certainly be manageable.
You mentioned the trust in there, and Saturday's game was the 20th celebrations of
indeed,
the trust. But I suppose everybody's thoughts are around people's health and protection and that kind of implications, aren't they?
Well, I don't know the famous Shankly quote, but it is. You have to put it in perspective. And whilst everybody's disappointed and it's difficult, and you think how are we going to deal with this? People's health obviously overrides that. And as you say, I think it's 20 years that we've been a trust-owned club. I think that's why we're in the position we're in now, because people do remember that. They remember how difficult those days were, and that is in their mind, and it's a good job that it is. And it means that we're probably able to better ride out this situation than perhaps we would have done in the past.
Lots of fans obviously planning to turn up to tomorrow's game and on Tuesday, and they'll have lots of questions in terms of towards staff as well. But in terms of our staff, we're asking them to work from home. There'll be a skeleton squad here, so there's all implications in terms of that for supporters, isn't it, in terms of trying to keep up to date with what's going on?
I think there's up to date, and of course people are going to be, there's a bit, I don't know if you'd noticed, but there's a big game coming up shortly, and lots of people would have bought tickets for that, and people will want to know where they stand with that. So I think the social media side and the website will keep people updated. You're quite right, the advice has been that where people can work from home they should do. That's what has been advised here. There will be a skeleton staff here, but they won't be able to man phones for hours to answer people's questions. So my advice would be to anybody that does there's going to be very few people around that will be able to do that next week, but there will be a team of people looking at how we are going to tackle those issues, and that information will be passed on through social media, through the website. So the request is please patience, and to keep an eye on those two things.
I just wondered also what measures were being put in place in terms of the playing squad, in terms of fixtures resuming on April the 4th. They're still training.
Well, that's another challenge. We've talked about that. There's 3 or 4 different ways to go about it, the physio and the doc and the manager are actually discussing that when I left earlier this morning. It may be that they come in and train and drive in and, you know, train and get in their cars and go home again. It may be that they train separately. There's a number of different ways that we can do it, but the important factor is, and the objective is, that so that they'll be fit and ready to go as we understand it right now on the 4th. You know, there's a game against Cheltenham and they need to be ready, fit and match fit. So that's a challenge in itself, which is, as I say, being addressed right now.